Good afternoon. I'd like to welcome everyone to the 2018 Bear Elementary D.A.R.E graduation. I always like to start off by thanking the most important people to make this day possible. That's number one, the City of Miamisburg, the Miamisburg City Schools, and the Miamisburg Police Department. Because without their support of the program, none of this would be possible. I'd also like to thank all the fourth graders who attended today. I look forward to seeing you guys next year in D.A.R.E class. I'd also like to thank all the parents and relatives that were able to make it here today. I had a great time working with your kids this year. We covered a lot of topics. We talked about the dangers of alcohol and tobacco. We talked about good decision-making skills and how to resist peer pressure. We talked about bullying and being good citizens. And finally, we talked about how to be safe with over-the-counter and prescription drugs. The goal for you fifth graders is to take the information we talked about and use it, especially as you guys get into middle school and high school. You encounter difficult situations. Hopefully some of the things we talked about will help you out. I'd like to introduce some guests who have joined us today to congratulate you on your accomplishment. We have from the City of Miamisburg, the Mayor, Dick Church. Also from the City of Miamisburg, we have Councilmember John Stalter. From the Miamisburg Police Department, we have the Chief of Police, John Sedlak. We also have from the Miamisburg Municipal Courts, Chief of Probation, Chantel Jennings. From the Miamisburg City Schools, we have your Superintendent, Dr. David Vale. And of course, you all know your Principal, Mr. Gruber. Some of our guests would like to say a few words, and we'll begin with Mayor Church.
Good afternoon. Are you getting the feedback? Okay. 22 years we've been doing these D.A.R.E graduations. 22 years, and as the sign says up there, Miamisburg City Schools and the Miamisburg Police Department and the City of Miamisburg, it's a partnership to hopefully help you understand the dangers of drinking, smoking, and now this drug epidemic that's plaguing the nation. I asked for some statistics from Officer Doug earlier, and last year, in 2017, in the City of Miamisburg, we had 160 overdoses. 26 of them resulted in death. This year, it's down some, but it's early in the year, 16 overdoses and 6 deaths. So that number is improving, but it's very important that what you have learned from Officer Doug during this course in D.A.R.E. I say it every year. One of these times in your lifetime, could be today, might be tomorrow, or it might be 20, 30 years from now. You will be approached by someone to do something that you know is wrong. And I hope that when that happens, you have the willpower and the strength to say, no, I'm not going to do that. That will hurt my body. And urge them to give up their habits. But that will happen. It's happened to all of us. Whether you're at a party and there's a lot of drinking going on, you will be approached. So I hope you follow the advice that Officer Doug has given you. We have 2 people here today filming this from the Miami Valley Communications Council, Joe McKenzie and Liberty Lord over here, and you can watch this D.A.R.E graduation many, many times before next year's D.A.R.E graduation here. I hope you have a great summer, and if you follow the advice that you've learned through D.A.R.E, you will have a great rest of your life. Thank you.
Next we have Chief Sedlak.
Thanks, Doug. Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm not sure this is working or not, but we'll just try it. I'll hold it here for a little bit. Like the mayor said, and like Officer Doug before him, you learned a lot of good things in this class over the year, right? How to say no, how to do different things, how to interact in different situations. That's what you learned. And I'm sure every one of you have learned those lessons very, very well. The difficulty is not in the classroom. The difficulty is when it's really facing you in real life. Life is never easy in a lot of different ways. Decisions are never easy. When you're undergoing a lot of peer pressure, it's never easy. You may know the right thing to do, but you may find it hard to do. But that's when it's most important. The mayor talked about 160 overdoses. That's just in the city of Miamisburg in 1 year's time. You think about that, that's a lot of people. That's a lot of people in one city. And you know, when you're taking drugs that are being passed out to you, you really don't know on the street what's in that. There's all sorts of horrible chemicals. You probably heard a lot of it in class, I would imagine. But can you imagine taking something with meat tenderizer in it, or chlorine bleach in it, or an overabundance of a certain type of drug? You have no idea what's actually in those things. And that's how 160 people just last year in our city. So I want you to think about it. There's almost no doubt that at some point in your life, before you're out of school, you're going to really be tempted or pushed to do something that's really not good. And you need to remember what we talked about today, what you learned all year long in D.A.R.E class, because that's when it really becomes critical. Not during the time that you're learning it, but the time that you need to use it. And I just hope that you make the right decisions and you remain healthy and happy and live a good, healthy, happy life. Enjoy summer vacation that'll be coming up here real soon, and thank you very much.
Next, we have Dr. Vale.
I'm so pleased to be here to congratulate all of you on your graduation from D.A.R.E. on behalf of the Miamisburg City School Board of Education, administration, staff, and the entire community. We're so proud of you going through this program and learning what you learned. You know, as you grow up, you've got some great teachers in your life. It starts off at home, mom, dad, older brothers and sisters, aunts and uncles, and those are your first teachers. And then you come to school and you get the great teachers that Miamisburg has to offer. You're learning English, math, science, social studies, whatever you may learn here. And we also consider Officer Sheriff one of our teachers here. He teaches you what we don't teach you. He teaches the things that get you through life. And we certainly enjoy having him on our staff. We certainly respect what he does. We hope that you listen hard, listen well, and learn a lot from him. And able to put those things into your life and use those things later on. As Mayor Church said, someone's going to tempt you, someone's going to challenge you. You have to have that strength to say no. But you've got a great support system. You've got your family and your parents. You also have each other, your friends here. Go to them and say, listen, I need help with this decision. You can't make it yourself, and they'll be there for you. So certainly reach out. You're not out there alone. There's a lot of people out here to protect you and support you. We want to be here for you as well. So continue to make the right choices and make good decisions. We hope you have a great last week of school, a great summer, and good luck in middle school next year.
Mrs. James.
Good afternoon. I'm here on behalf of Judge Reddick. He sends his regrets he's unable to attend, but he wanted to make sure to congratulate all of you on completing the D.A.R.E program. Thank you to the city, thank you to Officer Doug, to the police department, and the schools that put this on. This really is a great program. You are going to face challenges as you go through school, and one of the big challenges I like to talk about is peer pressure. As a probation officer, A lot of the people that come through the court, they have been pressured by others to do things that weren't necessarily right. That can mean pressure to do drugs, pressure to be mean to other people. I really hope you'll take the tools that you learned with Officer Doug, and I hope that you'll apply those and make the right decision. Talk to your teachers if you have a question. Talk to your parents. Talk to someone that you trust. Okay? Thank you so much and have a great summer.
One of the last things the students do in D.A.R.E class is they write a D.A.R.E report, and we've selected a few to read their reports today. And we'll begin with Sarah Swanson.
Do you know what D.A.R.E means? D.A.R.E stands for Drug Abuse Resistance Education. D.A.R.E is a class all fifth graders have to take. Another thing D.A.R.E stands for is Define, Assess, Respond, Evaluate. D.A.R.E is taught by Doug Schertz. Without Officer Doug Schertz, I wouldn't know how to report bullying or stand with peer pressure. Two things he has taught us about were drugs and alcohol. Drugs are highly addictive and cause over 400,000 deaths in America alone per year. Drugs also make your teeth and nails yellow. Who wants that? Another very bad effect drugs have are that they cause deadly illnesses like cancer. Alcohol affects all major organs in the body. Alcohol poisoning happens when you drink too much alcohol. It causes at least 7,500,000 deaths per year. If you drink alcohol, it can slow your heart down, which is not good. Also, you can lose your memory by drinking a lot of alcohol. That's horrible. Remember how D.A.R.E also means define, assess, respond, evaluate? This is a good method to decide what to do in a situation like if you were being bullied or being offered drugs. I know I use the D.A.R.E decision-making model every day to try to make the best decision I can. From D.A.R.E, I learned the danger of drugs and how I can avoid them. I also learned how to report bullying. I, Sarah Swenson, promise to never bully anyone and to never use drugs.
Next, we have Gabe Bansort.
Have you ever wondered what D.A.R.E stands for? Well, D.A.R.E stands for D, define, A, assess, R, respond, and E, evaluate. I know you are probably wondering why D.A.R.E is important. D.A.R.E is important because it teaches fifth graders how to say no to drugs and alcohol. I, along with other fifth graders, can thank Officer Doug Schertz for teaching us the dangers of using drugs and alcohol. One way he has taught us to say no is to use the D.A.R.E decision-making model. The D.A.R.E decision-making model helps people make the right decision in any situation. Now let's talk about some things you will learn to say no to in D.A.R.E class. One thing is alcohol use. This, much like drugs, is very bad for you. There are 75,000 related alcohol deaths a year. Alcohol has a lot more of an effect on younger people because they're still growing up. Another thing alcohol can do to you is make you lose memory and gain poor judgment. Another thing Officer Doug has taught us to resist is tobacco use. There are more than 50,000 related tobacco deaths a year. Another thing tobacco can do to you is it can cause bad lungs or lung cancer. Tobacco can also give you very, very bad breath. Last but not least, it will cause you to have yellow teeth. When I was little, I saw someone being bullied. I decided to use the D.A.R.E decision-making model and told a trusted adult. Now looking back at it, I realize anyone can use the D.A.R.E decision-making model, no matter how old you are. You were probably wondering if you have ever used the D.A.R.E decision-making model in your life. If you can, then you can remember the same thing I did. So if you are ever in a tough situation, use the D.A.R.E decision-making model. After learning all these things, I have begun to understand what drugs and alcohol can do to you. I, along with the other fifth graders, would like to thank Officer Doug one last time for teaching us all these things of D.A.R.E. Now, thanks to him, I will never do drugs or alcohol. I, Gabriel Manser, solemnly swear never to use drugs or alcohol.
Next, we have Samantha Brotherton.
D.A.R.E decision-making model. Do you know what D.A.R.E stands for? Well, D stands for define, A stands for assess, R stands for respond, and last, but definitely not least, E stands for evaluate. Using these 4 steps is a way of making safe and responsible decisions and choices. 5th graders take D.A.R.E so we can learn how to make good choices. Do you know who taught us about D.A.R.E? It's the super amazing, smart and responsible, and the one and only Officer Doug Sherritts. He taught us everything we needed to know about making the right decisions. Tobacco is dangerous. Did you know that cigarettes are tobacco products? There are more than 200 known harmful chemicals in cigarette smoke. More than 400,000 Americans die from tobacco-related causes each year. Also, using tobacco products leads to heart disease, lung cancer, and lots more. Almost 50,000 deaths per year can be attributed to secondhand smoke. Secondhand smoke is smoke inhaled involuntarily from tobacco being smoked by others. Alcohol is also very bad for everyone. Alcohol is illegal for anyone under the age of 21. Mixing alcohol with medicine is dangerous. Most teens don't drink alcohol. Also, teen bodies are still growing. Therefore, alcohol affects them more severely than adults. I use D.A.R.E to help me. Sometimes, when one of my friends comes over, sometimes we can't decide what to do. D.A.R.E has taught me that we need to communicate, decide what to do, or even solve an argument. I plan to use what I've learned in D.A.R.E to help me always make the right decisions and choices in life. Like, if someone were to offer me something that could harm me, I would say no. I will always say no to the bad choices. I, Samantha Brotherton, promise to never take any type of drugs or alcohol in my whole life.
I'm sure Chief Sedlak will get that on my name badge here quickly.
I was thinking that.
Next, we have Brock Stafford.
Have you heard of D.A.R.E, the way to help you with a tough situation or problem? The word D.A.R.E stands for define, assess, respond, and evaluate. Those 4 words will help you in almost every bad situation in life. The 2 of the most important things in D.A.R.E, I think, are how to make safe and responsible choices and signs of when someone is stressed out by someone or something. We, the 5th graders, take D.A.R.E because when we go into middle school, people will be doing some bad things, and we won't know what we are getting ourselves into. We also don't know how to respond to it. If someone asks us if we want to smoke, what will we say? Officer Sherritts has gladly taught us what to do in these bad situations. Next year, the 4th graders will be meeting Officer Sherritts. He will teach you about what people will ask you and how to respond to it. When you get older, be careful with who your friends are, because one bad decision can haunt you forever. To make safe and responsible choices, you need to be careful what you say around other people. You also need to watch your accounts so no one can get into it and bully from a device. Make sure you make some good friends so they can help you if you are being bullied. Make safe and responsible choices is very important. Some pointers on that are to make sure to think about what you say. Try to stay away from people who take alcohol and drugs. If you are getting bullied, tell an adult the 5 W's and think about the D.A.R.E decision-making model. Also, don't expect not to have a bully. Almost every school has them. Another thing that I think is important is when you are in stress or someone else is so I'm going to tell you a couple of ways you know when you are stressed out. First, just walk away from the person putting stress on you. If that doesn't work, go to an adult. Then think about your situation. If you can try to stop it, if not, take a couple deep breaths and start over. If people are laughing at you, laugh with them. If you are stressed out, your palms will get sweaty, you'll be sad, nervous, and mad. The most important thing in this is to tell an adult that you trust that will help you in this situation. I've used the D.A.R.E decision-making model in my life before, and it solved the problem. When I was little, I was bullied by this kid that was bigger than me. It kept on going day after day. Eventually, I told my mom and dad. They went to the principal and got the kid in trouble. The problem was solved, and nothing happened after that. I plan to use this good information that Officer Sherritts has taught us. This information will help me a lot in the future. I pledge not to drink, alcohol and take drugs for as long as I live, and hopefully you do too. I will always remember the way to get out of the problem I'm in. I would like to thank Officer Doug Schertz guiding me to greatness. I would like to thank the audience listening, and hopefully you won't make these bad decisions that other people have.
Next, we have Cassidy Prop.
The D.A.R.E decision-making model stands for D, define, A, assess, R, respond, and E, evaluate. Fifth graders take D.A.R.E so we make good choices and stay safe. My D.A.R.E officer is Officer Schertz. He has been teaching us how to stay safe and away from drugs and alcohol, and how to stay safe and make responsible choices. Alcohol is one of the things that Officer Schertz has taught us about. Alcohol is very bad for you because it can slow down the brain and body. You can have slow reflexes, lost self-control, memory loss, and poor judgment from alcohol. Teens' bodies are still growing, so alcohol can affect them more than adults. There are over 75,000 alcohol deaths each year just in the U.S. Alcohol is dangerous, so stay away. If you make safe and responsible choices, you don't get hurt or get into trouble. You will want to have good friends that don't do drugs or drink. Make safe choices about where you go and what you do. If someone asks you if you want a cigarette or beer, you say no and walk away. Making safe choices will keep you safe. I had to use the D.A.R.E decision-making model in my life before. I had to decide if I was going to my dad's house or my friend's house. I wanted to go to my dad's more because I see my friend every day. I decided to go to my dad's house and go to my friend's another day. I learned how bad drugs and alcohol can hurt you. I, Cassidy Props, promise never to do drugs or drink alcohol as long as I live.
And Eliza Ellis.
And D.A.R.E decision-making model is define, assess, respond, and evaluate, which is how we solve problems we face every day. Us, the fifth graders, take D.A.R.E because it teaches us not being peer pressured, which means people ask us to do drugs, and you're usually pressured to do it. We also learn not to do drugs because they are very bad for you. In D.A.R.E we had Officer Schertz, who was nice and very funny. You should always report bullying, which means you should tell an adult when you see bullying anywhere. Don't be a bystander, but just someone who just sits and watches bullying happening and does not tell an adult or anyone. You should tell an adult because it keep it from happening. If you report bullying, it could keep it from happening to you. Making your safe and responsible choices in life. Whenever you need to make a big choice, you should use the strategy to define, assess, respond, and evaluate. First, define what's your problem. Assess what are your choices. Respond, make your choice. Evaluate, did you make a good decision? Those should be the steps when making a big decision. I have used the decision-making model in my life when I had to make the decision to go to a football game or go to church. I went to the football game. I did not think I'd make a good choice because they did a lot of fun activities. My brother went and had a great time. I thought it would be boring, but anyways, the strategy helped me make the decision even though it wasn't the best one. I plan to use what I've learned in D.A.R.E in my life by making responsible choices. I plan not to do drugs, and I tell other people. I will tell people the risk of smoking and using tobacco. I, Eliza Ellis, promise to making responsible choices, not to do drugs, not to be a bystander, and not to be a bully, and not to be stressed, and not to be peer pressured, and stay drug-free till the day I die.
All the students did a great job on their reports, and those 6 are just a great example of that. The last group of people I'd like to thank before we hand out your certificates is the staff here at D.A.R.E Elementary. They make my job very easy, and that begins with your principal, Mrs. Rupert. And your 5th grade teachers, Mrs. Lay and Mrs. Duncan. And now it's time to receive your certificates, and we'll begin with Mrs. Donovan's class.
you want us to?
If you guys just want to come, if you want to come over here or something, kind of clear it out a little bit.
Jaden Betcher. Sarah Brooks. Tyler Collier. Delijah Dotson. Eliza Ellis. Caitlin Elsie. Braxton Eversole. Grayson Fields. Vincent Hammond. Colston Orth. Cassidy Props. Brock Stafford. Marshall Stearns. Reed Warner. Kaylee Walhay.
Thank you. And now we'll have Miss Lay's class.
I'm not going. Dominic Back. Samantha Brotherton.
Congratulations.
Atticus Collins.
Congratulations.
Chloe Doss.
Congratulations.
Lily Foster.
Congratulations.
TJ Faust.
I froze.
You okay?
Gabe Mansour. Blake May. Cheyenne Rogers. Nolan Sewell. Greg Scholl. Sarah Sorensen. Austin Whirling. Sam Zink. And Faith Snyder. Thank you.
Thank you. The last thing we'll do as part of our D.A.R.E graduation is I have a short little video to show you of classes here at D.A.R.E Elementary. See you guys. Thank you. concludes our DARE graduation. You guys have a great, safe summer. I'll see you next year. I'll see you guys in sixth grade. I'll see you guys in fifth grade. And thanks everyone for coming. Have a great summer. Thank you. I'll let you take